there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawwalker, your host, and today we're going to be listening to this new Coheed and Cambria record, Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. This is apparently the newest installment of plot for the seemingly never-ending Armory Wars story, otherwise known as the overarching plot of the Coheed and Cambria concept album discography. I want to say early on in this review that I have not listened to a Coheed and Cambria album in a while, so if you're a very big fan of this album, you are probably gonna hate most of my thoughts on this, and I am sorry. Anyway, like I said, it's been a while for me, and I think the last Coheed record I listened to was No World for Tomorrow, which in its own right is a pretty decent concept album. Admittedly, I do not remember the plot. I've been kind of going back through the Coheed catalog recently as a result of this album's release, and I really loved In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth. I completely forgot how bad the production was though, but I mean, a lot of those tracks are pretty solid, but I ended up turning it off just because, like, man, some things are, you look through nostalgia lens and it's like, okay, but without those, it's a little rough. Anyway, Vaxis 2 sonically is a totally nutritionally empty offering. It's prog rock at a Dance Gavin Dance level, which is to say, it's put together and formatted in a way that wants to appear grandiose, but ultimately only really delivers a lukewarm experience. Juvenile songwriting, bad, forced lyrics that are supposed to be for the benefit of the plot that at this point in the Coheed discography is fairly redundant in my opinion. There are moments on the album that are okay. Shoulders seems like Coheed doing their very best to emulate Muse while still trying and failing to not make it too obvious. Even still, I think as a result of that, this is one of the catchier songs here with some of the better riffs and more solid songwriting. I also do want to say the performance from Claudio on the vocal side of things is still excellent. I do not care what he is singing about really at all, but at least he sounds really good, so there is that to factor in. No hate to the performers at all. I kind of just wish that there was something else being performed. Alright, another thought, I don't really get a disappearing act. Like, what's going on here? It's got this bouncy drum beat, these overblown, dramatic synths that kick into like an almost, like, I feel like I want to say a K-pop or like a Europop beat, but I think that's wrong. But this whole chorus section is uncanny, and all of this like synth work is so unbelievably campy. I know that the point of this is to tell a story, and there's different little vignettes and chapters and styles between songs, but ugh. And that kind of sums up a lot of my feelings for these songs. It's like watching dash cam footage where you can see an accident is in progress and you're just watching the stuff like, man, like that one was embarrassing. And I mean, even on like the better tracks here, like The Liars Club and Beautiful Losers, they have a strong lean into like a pretty cut and dry pop punk-ish sound that I don't really get because they're trying to blend more prog-heavy elements into some of these songs on top of trying to make these big anthemic choruses that frankly blend awkwardly at best. And this formula is used on other tracks as well to generally, usually worse effect, like on Bad Man, which ends up stumbling over prog or pop punk entirely and landing in a weird synthy butt rock sound that I mean, the consistency on this album is basically non-existent aside from the production, which is admittedly not bad, a little flat at times, but mostly like pretty solid. A decent amount of dynamics in this one. I really think the only track that I kind of liked was Ladders of Supremacy. It feels a little bit more like a proper Coheed track. I also do appreciate the effort of Window of the Waking Mind, but once again, they're doing so much on one song that it just kind of falls apart because everything else just clashes hideously. To paint a picture, this album to me is like the standard American home, but with a massive puke green shag carpet right when you walk in the door, and black light posters tackily placed underneath Christmas lights that adorn the communal spaces. A college freshman sleeps on what once was a couch, but now could more appropriately be called a sitting place. What I'm trying to say is that this album is perfect for people that think they're deep. Anyway, I do think that there's some okay stuff here, but I don't really really care for all of the like long-winded plot, the constant swinging between various styles that doesn't really do anything to add to the sound and actively hinders it based on like a lack of focus. I really hope Coheed, like one of these days, puts out an album that wows me. I'm really rooting for them because I think they have a very good, very tight foundation that could potentially put out something that I really, really like that's very compelling. Honestly, I just think Claudio Sanchez would really need to focus up his writing a bit more, maybe do something a little bit less concept album oriented, a little less campy. I just kind of find this whole thing exhausting and not necessarily unlistenable or really all that awful. It's just a really tiring listen, and most of it doesn't really feel like there's enough payoff for the album to really go anywhere. And man, at this point in their discography, they just need to change something up because like prog rock as a concept is like great. I love the idea of prog rock, but it seems like every band who is in that genre nowadays doesn't really have a good grasp on how to write a story that the listener can give a shit about without people who have been there for like ever and like this is their thing and they don't leave their house. Because like, who has time for this? Anyway, Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind is a solid 4. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of the album in the comments below. Please don't crucify me, but if you want to, I understand. Drop a like and consider subscribing. And if you want to help out the channel more, check out my Instagram, check out my Reverb and my Depop. Links to those are in the description below. And thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.